Good morning. Welcome to the Columbus Regional Logistics Council Supply Chain Evolution. And on behalf of Acting President Dr. Shauna Ridlinger and the University Leadership Team, we welcome you and extend a warm welcome to Ohio Dominican University this morning. My name is Adam Hirschfeld, and I serve as the Executive Director of Student Success at Ohio Dominican and have been here for about 9 years. From the time a student first visits and walks on campus at ODU through the time of graduation, we are blessed to talk about how Columbus is our playground. And much of that growth, being one of the largest and fastest growing cities in the country, is due to your wonderful industry. We continue to educate our students about the industry through our supply chain management program. Last year, we also launched a program known as Life on Purpose. Through the Life on Purpose program at Ohio Dominican, we speak to students about doing things intentionally and on purpose through their academic journey. Every experience should be done with purpose and for a purpose. From your events that you visit on campus, to the outward opportunities you do in the industries, being job shadowing and internships. And we do that with purpose, working towards filling their greater purpose in the community. We speak a lot about internships and job shadowing opportunities, and we would welcome any of you on campus while you're just using our facility today for your conference as well. We'd love to partner with any of you in the industry that would like an Ohio Dominican student in your workforce. So it is my honor to welcome you to campus. I hope you enjoy the day. We did just move several hundred students on campus about 3 days ago, so you might hear and see them wandering around campus today, but it's so great to have a lively campus as we welcome back the 24-25 school year. It's my pleasure again to welcome you to campus. I hope you enjoy your program. Now it's my honor to welcome our next speaker, Monica Wilson, the Vice President of Enrollment Benefits with USI.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Adam. Again, Monica Wilson, Vice President of Employee Benefits at USI. Today we have an insightful event focused on exploring the innovative changes that are accelerating the future of the supply chain landscape in Central Ohio. These engaging discussions will examine the current state of the supply chain in all aspects, including the projected evolution over the next few years, while delving into the profound effects these changes will have on both the local community and businesses. We have a lot going on here in Central Ohio, don't we? It's exciting. It is exciting. And USI is ready to be your partner as well, should you have employee benefit needs. USI, a little bit of background, is the largest privately held employee benefit and property casualty consulting firm here in the US, currently serving over 500,000 clients. A large block of that business is logistic clients as well, so we know this space. We specialize in the practice to design cost control, promote regulatory compliance, and deliver superior account service in the employee benefits space. Employee benefits is more important than ever as you all compete for talent, the same talent, I may add. So hold on to your hat there. And it's going to be competitive, right? So even more of a reason to really delve into those employee benefits. Watch your costs as you continue to customize those benefits to attract and retain your talent. Let me help you develop those customized benefit plans so we can continue to go into this exciting year. It's a lot happening here. It will be exciting to watch. I'd like to now welcome Carl Scharf. I knew I was going to screw up his name, so I worked on that, trust me. Shareholder Tax Advisory Services with Schneider Downs. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. That's not my high school graduation picture. even though it looks like it. Probably early before I had 4 children in my career. But 17 years later with Schneider Downs, I look like this 4 kids later. But hey, thank you, Monica, and good morning, everyone. And again, as Monica mentioned, welcome to the Columbus Regional Logistics Council Supply Chain Evolution event, which will be an insightful event today with many breakout sessions trying to accelerate the supply chain future in this market. I'm Carl Scharf, and actually a proud member and advisory board member to the CRLC, and a tax advisory shareholder at Schneider Downs, who is a proud presenting partner and a longtime partner of the Chamber and Columbus Regional Logistics Council. In today's event, we will feature key presentations and breakout sessions from esteemed industry leaders, community representatives who will share their insights and experiences. They will provide a comprehensive overview of the current supply chain landscape in Central Ohio, discuss emerging trends, and offer predictions on the future trajectory of the industry. We've seen some great conversations transpire from previous supply chain logistics and evolution events, and are excited to carry this momentum forward here today. Before I pass the mic off to Kristi, I'd be remiss without providing any background about Schneider Downs. Schneider Downs is not a racetrack, which I think sometimes we've gotten calls about that in the past. We are a top 60 public accounting and business advisory firm located in Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Washington, D.C. We have nearly 600 professionals and 60 partners, and independently and locally owned. And over that 70-year history, founded in 1956, we've amassed this growth organically. So something we're extremely proud of in today's environment of private equity and everything else going on. Our Schneider Downs Transportation Advisory Group is made up of accounting, tax, technology, and business consulting professionals that combine their individual expertise to really combat and discuss trends in the industry. How do we bring solutions to our clients in the market, educate our teams internally to make sure we're in the right place at the right time when solutions are needed. We serve many clients in this market, serving a wide range from local to national companies that include trucking, warehousing, freight brokerage, and the distribution space. As a business advisor and a partner of the firm, we work hard to find innovative ways and bring solutions for companies to meet their financial goals and objectives. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be around here for the rest of the day. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce and welcome our esteemed fearless leader, Kristi Butcher.
Schneider Downs is not a racetrack, I just want to say. I grew up in Indiana and traveled to Louisville often for the racetrack, and I thought we had one here, so. As Carl mentioned, and everybody has welcomed you, so I'm going to welcome you to this morning's CRLC Supply Chain Evolution, Innovate and Accelerate, Shaping the Supply Chain Future. So I am very happy to see all of you and the faces in the crowd. And as Carl mentioned, I'm Kristi Butcher, Director of the Columbus Regional Logistics Council with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. So I want to thank, we've already heard from our 2 of our presenting sponsors, but I want to thank them again, because without their sponsorship, these events would not be what they are today. So I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Franklin County Board of Commissioners, Schneider Downs, and USI. I also want to thank our impact sponsors, FC Bank and FST Logistics. And thank you to our signature sponsor, Ignite Industrial Professional Group. Our venue sponsor is Crimson Cup Coffee and Tea and Ohio Dominican University. And all of our investor partners, thank you to them. So today's event is made possible with the collaboration of other related acronym associations to the supply chain, warehousing, and logistics industries. CSCMP, Columbus Roundtable, ASCM, Association of Supply Chain Management, WORK, Warehousing Education Resource Council, Research Council, okay, and the Columbus Logistics Breakfast Club. So for all of them, what they did is help provide presenters and communication to get you all here today. So thank you to all of them. This would not be possible for me without their help. When developing the focus for today's event, we focused on 5 main areas: transportation, technology, vendor and operations, human resources and education, and current and future trends. All of our breakouts are focused around those areas, both what's happening now and into the future. When you checked in, you were provided with a vendor passport. So you have this passport. What this passport will get you when you get the signatures from our vendors is an opportunity to win 2 tickets to our last CRLC event for 2024, which is our another collaborative event with CSCMP Columbus Roundtable, but our mixer, which is going to be out at the Peak at Edison Brewing in Gahanna. It was there last year. We were there the right time to see a beautiful sunset, so I hope you're all there. If you don't win the tickets, please come anyway. And it'll be December 12th. I do want to say one thank you. There were quite a few people that flew in for today. And that, I am just always blown away by that. I'm so thankful that you took your time and resources to fly in, to be here with us. I do want to pay one recognition to someone who flew in from Chicago. Where is she? There she is. Gail Rutkowski. She's a 30-year logistics veteran and former executive director of NASTRAC, thank you. So Gail, thank you for coming, and Dick, thank you for inviting her. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so, and now I have the great pleasure of introducing our opening keynote speaker, Kristi Montgomery, who also flew in, Vice President of Innovation, Research and Development with Kenco Group. Let's welcome Kristi, and great welcome to the stage.
Short. No, I drove it. I didn't get any.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. You'll notice that my accent is probably not Ohioan, right? I'm actually a Georgia girl, although I work for Chattanooga. I work in Chattanooga, and our company is in Tennessee. So Jeremy Banta and Steve DeDuccio and I work together in the work organization, and Jeremy asked me to come, and I was happy to come and support this event. It's always exciting to me when we get a group of folks together to talk about supply chain of the future, because that's my world. That's what I do. So here's a little bit of an agenda. We got a lot to work through, and I'm going to move fast, so I apologize. I do get excited and get passionate and get fast. So you in the back, if I'm going too fast, raise your hand and go slow down. But I do want to introduce you to who Kenco is, our innovation lab, and what we've done with that. We'll talk about 6 market trends that I see happening in supply chain, and I'll give you some case studies of things we're doing around those trends, different things we're doing for our customers. And then we'll talk about some of the hurdles and the obstacles that we face as we try to innovate and we try to change the future for our companies, and then give you a framework to succeed in actually overcoming those challenges and hurdles and moving forward into the future. So, who is Kenco? Kenco is a 70-plus-year-old third-party logistics organization headquartered in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we're privately held by a PE firm out of Chicago. You can see the stats. I won't read them to you, but $1.5 billion company. We have 125 plus locations around North America. And we sit in 4 major components of the business. So distribution and warehousing is a huge component, the largest revenue generator for our organization. We also have a transportation arm that is primarily non-asset based, and focuses on last mile delivery and some really specialized white glove delivery. We have an MHE solutions group that does fleet maintenance and management for all types of automation, material handling equipment, racking, all of those sorts of things. And then our final group is what I'll call the engineers and me. So we have about 85 engineers. The head of our group is from Georgia Tech, and they're all very engineering. So if I have anybody in an engineer in the room, okay, we've got to have engineers here. I'm the creative one. I'm not engineering, so I drive them nuts. But I'm the front end of the funnel, helping them find the technology that we're going to bring to our customers. So, and you can see a lot of the awards that our marketing team likes to say. I personally have been with Kenco for almost 34 years. I know that's unheard of in today's industry. I started when I was 3, just so you guys know. But the reason why I never moved from Kenco is they've given me the opportunity to do a lot of unique things. And about 8 years ago, I was the head of our IT organization and was seeing a move in the industry for customers asking 3PLs to step up and be innovative. And so the company leaders had the foresight and also the trust to give me the opportunity to step back and develop Kenco Innovation Labs. And so you can see what we've accomplished in the last 8 years. We've generated over about $100 million in savings for our customers. We have 91 emerging technologies that we've brought through the lab, tested, vetted, and then completed through pilot, or we've failed them because they didn't make it. And I don't like to brag, but I've killed a couple of robotics companies because they can't work in the real world of warehousing. So my lab is truly a 200-year-old warehouse that is dusty and dirty and hot and cold and all the things that we face in the warehousing industry, to try to prove out these technologies. Can they really work in the real world? So that's my job, and I get excited about it. I'm certified in design thinking, which is kind of the methodology we use behind innovation at Kenco, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. A few examples of some things we've done. We developed a solution called Load Proof, which is commercially available. We partnered with Georgia Tech and built out this technology that allows you to push back on the retailers when they issue chargebacks. And it's been wildly successful for our customers. And then we have a lot of automation, which we'll get into as we go through this. But we've had a lot of success stories in the innovation lab, and we like to say that we're about the application of innovation, not just the great ideas. So let's talk about some trends that are happening in the supply chain. I think that what supply chain leaders are looking for primarily, and you see it in this stat, is really how do we become more autonomous in the supply chain? How do we become more connected in the supply chain? How do we become more intelligent and digital within our supply chains? So that's where we're headed. So as we see it, Kenco, there are 6 primary trends that we're seeing lead the industry, and then on the left-hand side of the slide, you see a lot of the drivers behind that. We all know what COVID brought to the table, but one of the things we have seen is the challenge around labor resiliency and just having the folks to actually show up and work in the transportation and warehousing space, right? So how do we become more autonomous, more intelligent, more self-sufficient, I will say, and not so dependent on the labor market? So we're going to talk about each one of these trends in brief and what Kenco's doing about those. So the first one is that autonomous and automation. And so you see the growth of the market over the years. And I was talking to our Locust representative yesterday, and pre-COVID 2019 era, they had about 1,000 bots in production in the industry. Today they have 16,000. Exponential growth in automation, and they're a microcosm of what's happening. So you're seeing just huge growth in this whole concept of warehouse automation. So I mentioned Locust. We have implemented them successfully. We improved our pick rate by 400% with Locust in an e-com facility. And you can see that market and how it's just going crazy. So I Googled yesterday before I came in here, last night when I got to my hotel. If you Google warehouse robotics, you get like 120+ million results from Google. How do you know which one to choose, right? If there's that many of them out there, how do you know which one works for you? And when do you choose flexible automation like Locus, Gray Orange? I could name a whole lot of companies out there. Versus when do you choose to put in a fixed automation? And I know there's somebody here from AutoStore that's going to talk later today, but we just went live with our second AutoStore, and it's actually in a multi-tenant, multi-client facility, but we haven't even finished going live with it. We're already looking at how do we expand it. So that's how popular it's become for us. But I would encourage you to think about untraditional ways of using automation. What can you do with replacing your janitorial staff? What can you do with trash movement within your warehouse? What can you do with inventory? And I put a drone up here. People know about drones, but there's also some robotics that do automated inventory within your warehouse. So what are those functions that are just day to day? We have to do it, but now we can do it maybe potentially with a piece of automation and eliminate that routine labor. The second, and I know there's a session coming up on this and I'm excited to sit in it, the second trend we're seeing is really that generative AI. And what can we do in the supply chain industry using generative AI to benefit not only our customers, but to help our back office operations. One of the things that most companies struggle with as they grow, and Kenco certainly has, is the tribal knowledge that exists in the heads of those of us who have been around forever. And how do we get that out? And there are millions of shared files spread across millions of servers within the company, right? And where is all that information? And that's where generative AI is helping us tap into some of that information and create almost a de facto knowledge base for the company. So we have our own GPT that we're creating called Kenco GPT. Again, I work with a bunch of engineers, right? So they don't have fun marketing names, they have engineering names. But we are developing our own GPT application to do things, like I said, with the knowledge base, being able to quickly get to HR benefits information that changes rapidly in today's market, right? We have to keep up with the benefits for our employees and what it looks like for a transportation driver versus what it looks like for a forklift driver is very different. And so we want them to be able to get to that information quickly. We also have a help desk, as most companies do. We have over 7,000 employees, and so we have about 5 people on our help desk to support all those folks because we have the application of generative AI. And so it's allowed us to be more nimble and more responsive without having to increase a huge amount of headcount. The third trend that we're seeing with our customers, particularly in the CPG market, is really around sustainability and how do we have a better impact not only on our environment, but on our social economy within the local regions that we are placed. And so I think that statistic at the top is probably the most interesting. 93% of supply chain professionals believe that sustainability issues is going to be more important in the next 5 years. So I say sit up and take notice now. Start working on it now. We have a whole host of ESG initiatives going on at Kenco. Not just in that environment. Everybody wants to think about sustainability as the green initiatives, right? What are you doing to reclaim your wastewater, to be more energy efficient, to use LED lighting, all of those things, and how we do all that. But I think as important is what are you doing in the social aspect? What are you doing to really take care of your employees and be more aware of their needs in the changing multi-generational workforce, right? I was speaking at an HR conference this week actually, and they asked me what was the most difficult thing about working across multiple generations, and I said for me, as a older leader in the space, I'm not going to tell you, working with the 20-year-olds coming out of college, I am not motivated by praise and recognition. So I could care less if my boss ever tells me you did a great job, right? They need it every day. And so I literally have to put a tickler on my calendar at the end of the week that says, please tell Chandler, please tell Scott that he did a great job on something this week, to make myself do that. I think the adaptation of leadership to what's happening in the social space is a significant change that's happening in the sustainable area, and I would say a lot of people don't think about those. So we'll keep going. Trend number 4 is industrial Internet of Things. This market, another thing that's exploding, and it's really about smart sensors. Where is there information in your transportation supply chain, in your warehouse supply chain, even in your material handling equipment? Where's the data that you could be collecting to trend against what's happening and predict a failure that may be coming 6 to 12 weeks from now? So that's how we're using it. We're collecting data. We've got IoT sensors on our lift trucks. We've got IoT sensors in multiple areas of the warehouse, congestion points, and predicting 6 weeks out, there's a safety failure coming. Somebody's gonna have a workers' comp incident at this particular intersection of the warehouse. Or this particular truck driver continues to take corners and hit the curb, again with the sensors. If we don't start coaching him, we're gonna have a challenge coming up in the next 6 weeks. Camera vision enablement is another huge thing we're seeing change in our industry. So how do we take the cameras that probably already exist on your property or in your trailers or on your vehicles, and how do you use that information to really benefit the company? So a couple of examples that we have, we're working with multiple companies, but these are 3 examples. We're working with a company that does proactive overshort and damage management on product that is going out the door to your customers. Using camera vision, it's taking picture, video, capturing barcodes, capturing images of the shrink wrap, all of it to say this pallet was correct when it went out the door, and feeding that information back into the WMS. So think about, I don't have to RF scan that stuff anymore. It's capturing it with cameras. We're also working with a startup out of Ireland that does intelligent material handling equipment. In other words, like camera enable all the material handling equipment, and then allow us to no longer scan inventory anywhere in the warehouse. And then they optimize using AI what all of my paths are in the warehouse and what all the proper ways of doing things are within the warehouse. And then we're also in our health and pharma space using a company that helps us make sure that what we put in the box is what's supposed to go in the box. So, you know, in the healthcare space, you could potentially cause harm to a human being if you package the wrong thing. And so we're ensuring that what's supposed to go in there, and even how it's packaged and what it's packaged with and what the void fill is and how the box is sealed and how it's labeled, all those things are being captured by camera vision and immediately giving real-time feedback if something's not right. So huge uptick in camera vision. I'm not going to explain this slide. Just know that digitization versus digitalization versus digital transformation, very different processes. And most companies start at the digitization end of the spectrum and start working their way toward optimizing using digital. So what that means to us is the advent of artificial intelligence, and I know you have a session coming up on that as well, and how much more effective we can be if we can be predictable, even though our customers have very little way to be predictable. We're trying to help them do that with their forecasting and planning. So here's some examples. Using mobile applications to help our workforce be more flexible, to help our workforce have real-time information in front of them. They can see how something is supposed to be done in a video snippet. Again, we're talking about multi-generational workforce. It's not a bunch of SOPs on paper. It's a tablet that shows them in 90 seconds how to do this particular process, and they can find it quickly. It's really important to them. We're seeing a huge uptick in the ability to connect the dots, I'll say, using robotic process automation. Simple tool, low code, very easy, but I don't have to have now a huge IT team that builds a 6-month integration between systems. I can use a low code RPA tool that will pull the information that I need in 2 weeks. I'm done, and it just runs. It's a bot in the background. It has been a huge savings opportunity for Kenco. And then we have our own proprietary, like GPT, we have our own proprietary AI engine that we call DaVinci AI. And we have 12 or so models that we've built. They're all around predictability, predicting labor, predicting what's about to happen from a safety perspective, predicting turnover, predicting what our customer volume is going to be. Our customers' forecasts are on average 65% accurate. We've got them up over 90% with this DaVinci AI tool. And then we've developed our own dynamic slotting tool with using AI to predict where products should be in the warehouse based on what's trended in the past and what's happening in the future. We do labor planning looking at not only what the volume is going to be, but what's the weather going to be today. In Social Circle, Georgia, today, August 15th, I can tell you, is going to be hot. It's probably going to be 95 degrees. That's going to impact your productivity. People are going to have to stop more, they're going to have to go get more water. So this engine is taking all of that data from external sources into account and predicting how many people we need in the warehouse to be successful. 6 to 12 weeks out. So those are some of the trends. Let's talk about some of the obstacles and the hurdles that we face as organizations trying to innovate within the supply chain. And I like to say that the supply chain is typically about 30 years behind manufacturing. Robots and things have been around for a long time in manufacturing. We just tend to be slower to adopt. So before you start your automation journey, before you start your innovation journey, make sure that you have your data under control. It's one of those hard things, but you really need to work on that. Also, your infrastructure. Can it support all of these things that need to be on the Wi-Fi? So these are things you need to look at before you head down that path. Interoperability is a huge challenge for our customers. There's no one piece of automation that does everything, so how do I connect all of them together and make them work in sequence in a way that I don't have downtime and I don't have wasted time? Short-term vision, this is what a lot of companies, particularly if they are publicly traded, face because they have a challenge with, I just need to hit my numbers this quarter or this year. And you've got to be looking longer term if you want to look at an automation journey. And then just the inertia of being in a longer, older organization. So there's a lot of other hurdles, but those are the big ones. How do we get there? What's the framework? So first of all, get proactive, just do it. Step up and do something. Don't just sit back and wait for the big plan, the big vision. Innovation has to be iterative. It has to be try something, try something, try something. You'll eventually hit success. Don't do it with millions of dollars. But just get moving. Define what innovation means to you. For Kenco, it's not go invent the brand new thing that's never been done before. It's find something you can apply that already exists with a startup company or an emerging tech or a company that's doing something innovative. Bring them to the table for your customer in a unique way. The company that I'm working with on the intelligent MAG, those guys were in the healthcare space. And they were predicting or saying how close a patient was to where they were supposed to be. In other words, do they fall out of bed? And I said, gosh, if you could do that with something in the warehouse, that would be amazing. They've never seen a warehouse in their life. And so it's been a journey to get them to where they need to be. But define what it means to your company, because that's going to set you up for success. And then pick some sort of framework. Innovation is not about the big light bulb aha moment. Innovation is about intentionality and expertise and a fresh perspective and thinking differently about the problems you have. Be intentional about it. It doesn't matter what you pick from a framework perspective, just have one and go about it in a methodical way. And then this, I would say, is probably the biggest key. You have to be collaborative. Not only inside your organization with all the departments, but outside with vendors, with partners, with suppliers, with academia. Get everybody involved and crowdsource, so to speak, those options, because you're going to come out with a much better product at the end of the day than what you could think up on your own. So involve the different people, and there's a Steve Jobs quote that I love. It's not about you, it's about the team. How do you get the team involved to deliver innovation? And then how we found success is really just piloting small things. If I've got a 1 million square foot warehouse, I don't try to pilot a piece of automation in 1 million square feet. I take 10,000 square feet and 2 SKUs and try that piece of automation or that robot or that whatever piece of software, whatever it looks like, find a spot where you can try it small with minimal impact and learn from that and iterate from that. I'm very passionate about not doing the big bang approach, because if you wait until you can do the big bang approach and you're 100% sure it's going to work, you've probably gotten well behind your competitors. Just go with it. Try something. See if you can make it work. But involve the people when you do it, because that's really critical from a change management perspective. And then one of the things you're going to have to do as you start moving toward this vision of automation in the future and innovation is, how do you upskill your talent? Particularly as you look at what's in the transportation space, what's in the warehouse space. We have a lot of blue-collar workforce. How do we help them come to the next level, those that want to, and become automation experts, or become navigation experts for robotics, or become something that's going to allow them to have a place in this kind of vision of the future for the supply chain. So we have a lot of things that we're building out career pathing wise for our current workforce to ensure that they can move forward with us as we continue on this innovation journey. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. We live in an ever-evolving market, and it's becoming faster and faster and faster in the supply chain. What's happening, what's changing. You have to be proactive. You can't sit back and wait. It's already moving well past you by the time you've thought about moving. So get moving. You got to think small to deliver big. I think that's such a key to success. You just have to try small things. And then you have to learn to think differently. And for us, that's design thinking. We've chosen that methodology deliberately because it gets us outside of our box of how we think about the current problems. And we use that to really go, what if there were no constraints? And what if we could do this differently? How can we solve those problems? And that's how we come up with our challenges to Kenco. That's all I have for you guys this morning. If you have questions, 2 or 3 questions. This is one of my favorite quotes is, "It is what it is," but I always add to that, but it will become what you make of it. So the future is in your hands. Questions? Sorry, I'm having to move so fast.
Good morning. I'm also a Georgia girl, so holla. So one of the things you were talking about, which I thought was really interesting, was the automation to reduce some of the routine tasks. And I was thinking about, and then you mentioned toward the end about upskilling the human component of it, because I know a lot of people are afraid of AI coming and taking over all the human jobs, but I think the upskilling piece is definitely paramount to be able to do that. But one of my questions is around, with all the technology, and we just experienced a couple weeks ago the CrowdStrike outage, and that literally crippled so many different, including airlines and everything else. So how can people be more proactive in thinking about, the inevitable crisis that may come up if somebody does something digitally that they can't undo, or hold a hostage ransomware kind of thing? So you talk about that a little bit, please.
I can. So that is a huge issue, and I get to be the person that just is unconstrained and goes running off and thinks about the really cool stuff. Kenco has a great team of IT cybersecurity resources and also risk management and insurance folks that are like that. Okay, but Kristi, and I go, yeah, but we could just try it. And they go, no, not until this is buttoned up. So it's really important to have those people surrounding you. This is where the collaboration comes in, that understand what's happening in the cybersecurity space and make sure that you're protected from where you're going with this. Particularly as I work with startup and emerging technologies, they don't think about cybersecurity, they don't think about risk, they just have a robot and it's really cool and they want to run with it. And so I've got to rein them back in to make sure. But I think what we've seen is that emergence of cybersecurity and risk being incredibly important to our customers as they come to us, and part of it's now being written into commercial contracts that all those pieces have to be in place. So that's the surround yourselves with the experts that know what they're doing in that area for sure. One more? Anybody else? All right, that was fast talking, but thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm only coming back up here to get the water that I left. said, Carl, get your coffee, and then I need my water up here. Thank you again, Kristi. Very insightful, very much on target for what we were looking for, and the rest of what you're going to hear today. So, in a few minutes, you all are going to leave this room and have the opportunity to attend 2 breakout sessions with time in between to visit the vendor tables. Again, I'm going to mention the passport on here that enters you to win 2 tickets to the mixer in December. You will see that I'm on here. So if you want me to sign this, you're going to have to catch me in my cart. It does go from turtle to rabbit speed, so I'm going faster. You may not get a signature. Also, on the passport, get as many signatures from the vendors as you can. There are some that did not show up today. That's okay. We're not expecting a full bingo card. When you return to this room at 11 o'clock, lunch is going to be about eating, networking, and visiting the vendor tables to get the passports completed. I encourage you to each meet at least 3 people that you didn't know before and exchange your business cards with them. During lunch, please share with others at your table what you heard today in your respective breakout session. I'm pleased to also let you know, coffee has been replenished. So there is that. So enjoy the rest of your morning. We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock.